Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
I am loving Wicked City because of the music.
It's on.
And there wasn't
Great
a lot
soundtrack.
in this episode.
There wasn't a lot.
True.
But
There was
still.
a cover of that song.
But other than that,
There was one other song.
And there
that
was the Cars.
right. It's so good. Welcome back to AfterBuzz TV. You are tuning in for episode 3 of Wicked City called Should I Stay or Should I Go? I love it. We are here. I'm with you once again. I'm Monse Bolanos. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Monse Bolanos. Monse spelled M-O-N-S-E. To my left, I have Susannah Kim.
Hello, you can tweet me at Susanna_Kim and follow me on Instagram at Susannah Kim.
And to Susanna's left, we have Alina Vission.
Hey, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Alina Vision. That's ALINAVISSION.
You look precious saying that, by the way.
Thank you, girl.
I was just watching you.
It was a good slate.
I was like, I'm gonna follow you. I already do. To Alina's left, we have Tamra Brown.
And you can follow me on Twitter at BrownTamra and on Instagram at Tamra_blue.
Yeah.
Oh, did I not look precious?
She just, like, I was mesmerized. I was enchanted. It was so cute. I loved it.
Oh, thanks.
Before we fully get started, we want to thank you guys. One, for tuning in, listening, commenting, tweeting us, the whole enchilada. A couple of people I want to give a shout out to. We're guessing that your name is Lady Gothy. 12. She wrote that regardless, I am buying the soundtrack to this.
Yes, girl, I'm with you.
Right? I was like, yes.
with you.
Yeah.
With you all the way. Chris Gilliard, Gilliard. He says that Kent and Betty are kind of like the Joker and Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. And everyone else that comments, Steven Starr is always there, Vern C. Thank you guys for being there. We really appreciate it. And here we are, episode 3, ratings. Oh, man.
There's a lot of competition this Tuesday.
It's not going up.
It keeps going down.
Yeah, which is weird because for me, I'm actually liking
I'm
it
getting into
more.
it more.
Yeah,
Right. I wish like the premiere hooked a lot more people, but it had such,
Right.
competition that night.
It's true. It does have a lot of competition, and the ratings that I looked up were for day ratings for yesterday. Because obviously you can look into rating for like a week. What happened over that course of the week, because we talked about it. People record, don't necessarily watch right away. But yesterday for day viewing, the ratings went down 43%. From a 0.7 to a 0.4. And let me remind you, a 0.7 is already a cancellation level.
Yeah.
And it went to a 0.4. What's ABC going to do?
They gotta give us a stunner episode that's gonna pull everybody in.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna cancel it. I think they'll write it out. I mean, what else are you gonna put in right now at 10 p.m. on a Tuesday?
Another crime drama takes place on the Sunset Strip in 1976.
Right, exactly. You know what I mean? What else are you gonna put in right now? It's leave it in. Don't take it away now. We're now invested. At least 4 people are invested,
Yes.
ABC.
Yeah.
Give it to us. If you do cancel it, please send us a video of the rest of the season, please.
But last night was the Republican debate. Tuesday night was the Republican debate and another one. And it was also, a lot of people were off today because today's Veterans Day. So out last night, I noticed that it was like a weekend night. So to be fair, there were other things pulling America's
To
attention.
be fair, whoever's watching the Republican debate What are you doing?
Is not probably.
What are you? I'm
Watch
just
Wicked City. Come on.
Like, if you're watching that debate, we got other stuff to talk about.
Probably not
something to
pulling
watch.
away those Wicked City fans.
Seriously. Maybe we don't want those fans watching Wicked City. You stick to your Republican debate. All right, let's get into the episode. I liked it. It seems like we all enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I liked
I
it.
did.
This one totally hooked me in more than the first two.
Okay.
For sure.
It was a lot less bloody, and it got more into the story, so I liked that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was okay. I felt like it was an okay. I liked the previous episode better. This one, I felt like it was mostly about Detective Roth, and I'm still waiting to find something to really like him.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I don't think this really was that much about him. I actually think it was more about Kent and his history.
His history. We
And
found a
I
lot
think
about
we learned a lot more about him, and just it became more of like a detective-y, like mouse and cat game in this episode, which I really liked. I liked the riddles. I liked everything about it. Even though, like you said, not a lot of blood, not a lot of necessary violence. I liked it. Yeah, so I don't know. And I don't like Jack. I'm with you. I don't like Jack. So I didn't think this episode was about him because I really liked this episode. But I think if I would have seen it from your perspective, I'm like, yeah, nah.
Well, like last episode, we talked about how I think we all said we really liked the pacing, how it's taking its time, really, really slow. And at this point, like I keep just being like, okay, but when are they going to show us the point where I'm going to be like, there, now I really like Detective Roth. Like but like cheating on his wife, like
I don't think you're supposed to like. I don't think you're supposed to like.
I guess you're not supposed to. For some reason, I thought I was supposed to. But
And it's so
No,
weird because they get us to like the killer, which
Right.
is what's weird about this show.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's very
Yeah,
true.
It's so
Yeah.
different.
That's
what I
very
love.
true.
Yeah, I don't think we're supposed to like him, so they're doing a good job because
Yeah.
here we are. But let's get into it. Let's talk about Kent and Betty in this episode. I love, again, we started immediately where we left off. And I called the guys. I said she'd kill. Some of you were saying she's not going to kill. She's not going to join the dark side. Who said that last week? Who predicted that?
I thought she wasn't. Wait, she killed?
No, but no, I mean, she's already joined him. He's by the end of this
she joined
episode.
him.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
she's full
Like,
on.
on his side.
Yeah, before somebody was saying last week, like, I don't know if it's gonna even happen by the end of the season. Nah, this is totally happening for her. But she runs away from Kent, which is the preview we
I
saw.
predicted
Yeah.
that.
Right, you
Yeah.
did, which is the preview we saw. I did not think it was gonna be from that exact moment.
Okay.
That's I did not think. I love that. She takes off running into the forest, wherever jungle. I don't need jungle. We're in LA.
Griffith Jungle.
The jungles of
The rainforest of Los Angeles.
She runs to a park probably more often than not. And he runs after her. This whole scene, I loved it so much.
Yes.
Because of how she was telling her kids the story of the Wolfman. And you see her. Like she was
Right.
Little Red Riding Hood. And then the Wolfman catches her, and the kids are like, "Oh, so like, what happens?" And she's like, "Oh, she bites back." So is she now a wolf?
Does that mean she's a wolf too? That
Yes.
was so good. I
All of
love that line.
I love that. And then I wrote down a note as I was watching the episode because he chases her. She bites him, and then they make out, right? And then I got over it real quick. So you're fine, Betty. So you ran, but then 3 minutes later, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
She looked into his dreamy eyes. And
He does have dreamy eyes.
Right.
She was done.
Yeah.
But then decides again that she needs some space from him. So
Yeah.
just wavering a little bit.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
she's telling her coworker at the hospital about this new guy. She's like, but he has like a habit that, I don't know if I like it, but then I kind of do.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
Here's the thing I don't get. Like, if I had just seen somebody murdered, I'd be freaking out.
Mm-hmm.
You can
Oh, yeah.
totally tell that she's a psychopath because
Yeah.
she has no completely does not have any feelings
Like
for
to
it.
her,
Exactly.
making that analogy to dating a guy smoking, to her is
Yeah.
probably on par.
Right, yeah.
Like, those are
Exactly.
basically the same,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
This thing
cray.
he does, yeah.
Like, for sure.
Oh, she's totally crazy.
She's
and
a little crazy.
she does a great job. This was the first episode where I really felt like, man, Erika Christensen and Ed Westwick, like they killed it, I feel like. She's doing a really good job at playing. She can easily play that, oh, I'm so innocent and doe-eyed, and at the next second she's like,
She has
killer
an evil
eyes,
face.
and like, man, she is good at working both sides. She does
They
both.
both are.
Yes,
They both are.
yes, because whenever he's with that little girl, I'm like, yes, aren't you a sweetheart?
I just
and
want-
then he turns around, and then it's like, oh,
Yeah.
you just looked at her for 5 seconds too long.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
Gosh, they're
I'm-
really good. This was the first episode I noticed that.
I love that, and I agree because you guys know I'm not a huge fan of Erika Christensen, but in this episode,
facial.
yes, her
So
dynamic was
She's
really
got
good.
such a like fierce pout. She's got like a Pat Benatar pout kind of thing that like looks kind of minxy but also villainous. It's
Yeah. In that scene when she's talking to her coworker, I enjoyed when, because she mentioned cigarettes, so the coworker think it's still cigarettes, and she's like, sign him up for like a new trial for the patch thingy.
Yeah.
It's like, that would be around the time, right?
right.
I guess,
When it's just coming out.
Yeah.
But she asked for time apart, just like you said, Tamra. I didn't expect that. Just because from the beginning, I'm like, no, she's going to kill. I said it last week. I was like, she's going to join him right away. So I actually was a little shocked that she called so quickly after having that conversation with her coworker to say, and she didn't say, leave me alone. She just kind of was
I
like,
need some time.
I need some space.
I need some space.
think
I need to
about it.
figure out if I can kill just like you, boo. I need to figure that out. But it's cool. Then he shows up. Well, we also get to meet Jimmy, like, in this episode.
Yeah.
Jimmy's going to be a problem.
Something.
Oh, Jimmy's gonna be gone.
I was kind of thinking that this was an episode where Kent was going to make an exception and kill a guy.
Oh,
Yes, I thought that too when she says, when he shows up, because Jimmy shows up at her house after we first hear about Jimmy in a phone call, because she gets home, listens to the voicemail from Jimmy, and is like, ugh. And then Kent also leaves a voicemail after hearing her voicemail of leaving her alone for a little bit. So we already know about Jimmy, but then he shows up, and he kind of is kind of a prick. Oh, like, boo, you need to back up.
Yeah, he's a little grody. He's grody.
And then she kind of like hurts him, but you're right when she says, the guy I'm dating wouldn't like the way you're talking to me.
Right.
And I was like, oh, he's gonna kill a man.
Yeah. Right when she said that, I was thinking, man, so she's going to be the one that brings that part out of him. Because so far
Yes,
he's only been
right.
killing women. It's been this whole, like, mommy thing or whatever, you know?
maybe-
but now it's going to
maybe
be just...
She's gonna be
kill him.
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, yeah, exactly.
That's the
He's
twist.
gonna be her first
So,
kill.
yeah.
That's a possibility too.
That's totally what by the end of the episode, at first I thought he's gonna kill him. By the end of the episode, I was like, she might kill him. That might be her first kill. Maybe it's somebody else. Maybe that'll be like her 10th kill because she knows what she's doing. Who knows? But yeah, totally, that guy's going. But he's sticking around for now. Like I think we're gonna see him. He's not dying. He's not dying next week.
No.
You know
Right.
what I mean? Yeah, like we're gonna see him a little bit. And then at the end, because Ken shows up at her work and gives her the Phantom of the Opera book, which we will get into detail about that as we talk about the rest of the episode, and just tells her, like, read this. I hope you see us in this. You belong to me type of thing. He says very like intense romantic things, because some of it I was like
Yes,
a little
that's
bit.
an understatement.
Yeah, like it plays with that line of like creepy, but
Yeah.
also kind of like, man, what girl wouldn't want to hear those things, you know? Like that is sweet, but also a little scary. Like,
Yep.
don't know.
A little
I don't know, but she could be into that.
Yeah.
She could be
Well,
into
I think
that.
she was. She
Yeah,
was eating
right,
those lines
yeah.
up.
She really,
yeah.
she was. And we're going to talk about this name, but Vera Bennett, did you guys notice? You pointed it out. When he gave her the book, he covered that name with like a little...
The heart.
The heart of them
Yeah.
with their initials in it. 'Cause
And the heart is the same heart that that detective Roth later finds, under the thing when he's looking at the heart, and it says C plus V
Right.
instead of K plus B.
Right.
Loved it.
Right.
Yeah. So many clues.
Love that
So
connection.
many little clues. And then by the end of the night, they're pretty much back together because she reads the book and she's like, I get it. You took your mask off for me. Love you. All this stuff.
She quotes it to him. He was eating that up. He was like, oh, yes.
She says, I want us. And they get ready. She gets all dolled up. And then she's like, where are we going? Where we started, baby. On the Sunset Strip. And Jimmy sees him. And I was like, oh, Jimmy, what are you going to do right now?
Get out of there, Jimmy.
Jimmy, get out. You're going to get killed, Jimmy. Because he was just looking, and it seemed as though they were kind of near each other. Enough for him to just be like, hey, yo, Betty, what are you doing?
Right, yeah.
You know? And that's literally what I thought. But no.
Where are y'all going?
Yeah. Where are y'all going? Is this the guy you were talking about? And then I thought he was going to get killed. But they go to, I assume, back to the whiskey?
Yeah.
Is that where they...
That's where they went.
That's where they went? I didn't even notice if that's literally where they went. But yes, they go back there, and Betty finds a pretty lady that she introduces herself to as Christine. And it looks like that might be their next friend to play with.
Now, did they say that when Jack's daughter was out and she was in a car, I assumed she was on the Sunset Strip. So I
that's
thought
what they said.
Okay, did they say that?
We're gonna go to the club.
The bars,
right,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Right.
Yeah, so
But
I'm
like,
surprised that didn't tie in at all.
Yeah, I thought it would too.
I think, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I was hoping.
I was like, that would be an interesting twist
If
if
Jack,
they
found her.
right,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm thinking that eventually that will tie in. You know, I'm pretty sure Jack's wife and daughter are going to come into the mix somewhere.
Right.
His
Yeah.
wife's redheaded, right? And
Yeah.
It seems like we kind of might have a thing for redheads. I don't know.
Yeah. I think I thought for like a second, maybe as she was in the car with those friends, I was like, what if like she gets taken? Like it would
Right.
be
The
you know,
ultimate trophy.
the
kind of.
ultimate
Yeah.
right, which could be more towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we covered Kent and Betty pretty good for now, and then I'm sure we're gonna keep talking about them throughout the rest of the episode because it comes up with what Kent's doing. But poor Jack, because we start off with the episode and he's talking to his wife Allison, and Allison's like, no to this party. Don't let her. She's gonna ask you. This is why. A, B, C, D. Why we're saying no. You get it? He's like, yeah. No, you don't get it. No. You ruined it. I was like, seriously? I can't even deal with you right now. But they get a name. Bruce Forrester. They come up across this name, which is a dead man, the owner of the upholstery, way back when, and so they're getting clues. They're slowly chipping at the tree. They find out also that the body of that woman that was in the upholstery underground area is Vera Bennett.
Yeah.
Vera Bennett, who is about 10 years older than the rest of the victims. And they're like, wait, so he was like a 15-year-old, 16-year-old when he killed this?
Yeah.
Is this his first kill? All of these things. And I was like, for a second I was like, this has to be maybe a copycat, like that person said on one of our comments, because it just seems like so much.
Right.
How do you have time for this?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Where are you going? How are you doing?
How are you doing all this? See, and then I was like, maybe that was his mother. Like, he killed his mother
That's what I
and
thought.
buried her there. That's why he's so close to her. You know, he kept her close. And then when they debunked that, I was like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, but then later it seems like when they're talking about the next episode, it does kind of go back
Right.
about his mom and her wanting to be a star, maybe. Which
Yeah.
because I didn't know what the whole like
The wig
blonde wig,
and-
red lips, beauty mark, like what is that about?
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
so
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully bring that in.
Yeah, there's a lot of little details that keep reoccurring that I'm waiting for them to come into play.
Yes.
Like the insomnia that Jack and his daughter have. They've mentioned that a couple times. Like, I've been waiting for these things to come into play, and they haven't yet. So as much as I do enjoy the slow pacing, there's certain things I'm just like, all right, tell us what this is for.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? I think like now they're at the point where it's like we have enough story. Now you can move at a faster pace. Because
Right.
at first it's like you kind of have to set it up. Like fill us in so we understand. I think after this episode particularly, it's like, all right, now go for it. Because now we really do know at least more about Kent and his background. The name Vera Bennett does lead them to the library. And they get there, they find out that she worked there for about 11 years and that her circulation of books that she owned, her books were now in circulation at the library. The books that she owned.
Her collection. Right.
Her collection, exactly. They also ran into Diver and Karen, which we were watching the episode and at the beginning, like the first scene where they're together and he like kisses her. We're both like, ugh.
Yeah.
Right. Something about the two of them together. I'm not having that.
There's no chemistry there.
I don't like them
there's
together.
none.
I'm not crazy about the character.
Yeah, none of that. None of that.
I like Diver. I just don't. There's nothing to bring them together for me in any way. Like
Yeah.
I just
No.
don't care about the two of them being together.
Yeah.
They're like opposite magnets to me. Like that they're just trying to force together.
Exactly.
And also,
That's exactly how it
so
seems.
far in the story, I feel like the whole Karen storyline hasn't really done anything for anything, right? Like it hasn't been super exciting. Yeah, she was there, but they were also there without her. You know what I mean? Like at the library. So it's kind of like, what are you really doing? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope they use her a little bit more.
Yeah, and even though Diver tells her, like, you're tripping for pursuing this riddle, do you guys agree with her on not telling Jack and Paco about the riddle at first?
No, I think she should have told.
From the beginning?
Yeah, from the beginning. And I did actually agree with Diver when he was like, don't go to the, library.
Right.
This could be a circle around.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's smart. You said something smart, Diver.
Finally.
He's like, remember he tried to kill you?
Exactly.
You're
so
right.
good on you for that.
Yeah.
But I think she should have gone to the
From the beginning.
the detectives with that.
Yeah, I say that's gonna, her not going, her defiance is gonna lead her to her death. I am calling it. She dies.
Okay.
That her defiance, because keeps getting herself in situations because she doesn't want to, she's looking for the story.
And she keeps getting herself in these situations that are so insanely right place at the right time. Like that, happen to be in that building when they find the head that was it last episode or the one before, and then just happen to be at the library when the police show up. Like
it's just all around the same time, which is, it is a coincidence. But I mean, the way Kent works, he's planned all this perfectly. He's like, no, I'm gonna leave this right here. You will show up approximately this time.
But that's why I think that I think you're right that she will bite the bullet, because her luck or her like skill as a journalist has seemed to just be luck, or how Kent has laid it out. It hasn't come from her own actual merit.
Right.
So
Exactly.
But she.
What are you really doing?
I know, what are you?
You should have just gone wherever you said you were going to go.
You should have left when you said.
And nobody told you to stay.
You had goodbye sex. Now you just look pathetic because you're still here.
Right? Awkward.
Right. But Karen does tell them, I have a riddle. I think he wants them to find this book. And they start looking for the book. It's the 1911 printed version of The Phantom of the Opera. And they go looking for the book. But Kent has the book. He already has it. And he's with Mary. They were at the library like moments before that, it seemed like, right?
Yeah.
Like moments before. And then it looks like they're at the park and he has the book. And like we said, he's so charming with Mary, so freaking cute.
So then does that mean that he had the head with him when he was with the little girl?
That he
just
dropped
trying
it
to
off.
He was like, you go read.
Yes.
I'm going to take this head and just put this over there.
She had it in
You
her
go check out
backpack.
your books.
But I was looking at his backpack and I was like, I don't know if it's big enough for that box with the head.
Right.
Yes, I agree. But I bet you that's what
it
he
was.
did.
Right?
Yeah.
He just ran out to his car. It was in the truck.
It's just, I
He
know.
keeps making Mary a little accomplice to his.
He's efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
It's true.
And his hair is just a little bit different in all the scenes with her. That I'm always like, okay, are there I know it's crazy. I'm like, is it twins and it's two people doing these? It looks like a different person to me. Every single time,
master
every
disguise,
scene
yeah.
since the show has started, every time I see a scene with him and Mary, I at first think it's a different person. I don't think it's
I think they just try to
He
make him look
parts it.
sweet.
He does the
Yeah.
comb over.
He does the comb over.
Makes him look
brush
really
up.
sweet.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he sells it, man. Like when
Yeah.
he's talking to Mary, he's like, "You haven't found the perfect guy for you and your mom, but don't worry." And then she asks about Betty, and he's like, "He's my
missing piece."
Yeah, she's my piece." And it's just like,
And then it gets a little creepy. He's like, yeah, and then I'm going to make her see that she's my missing piece. What? Okay.
but he does.
right.
But he literally, he does
does.
do that. So since Kent has the book, we just told you guys, they find Mallory's head in a box where the book should be. And again, the head is not just Mallory's head. It's like has lipstick on and a wig on. Looks like a
done
different
up,
person.
It's like it's trying to be Marilyn-ish, you know?
But isn't it also how that head, the first
other
head,
head
looks?
Exactly.
and that other one was
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
So
he
I-
puts the blonde wig on it.
The wigs on.
And the
yeah.
lipstick.
That's got to be his mom.
Beauty mark. Right, because they
but-
did mention like something about his mom wanting to be an actress. I think I heard a soundbite.
And he's
for the
always
next
going after girls that want to be famous.
actresses. That's
Yes.
true.
So maybe he's like, this is their last final show.
Yeah, it's definitely gotta be his mom. I don't think that Vera Bennett is his mom.
No.
Yeah, I think a mom is like someone else. Yeah. Okay. Then Diver talks to Paco and Karen, that whole interaction, the three of them, where Paco's like, you're screwing up, like, what are you doing? And then he's like, he's going after you, and she's like, no, he's choosing me. Karen, what are you saying? Seriously, why are you in the show? I'm confused. That was a little mean.
Oh, wait, for the wig thing, he puts a red wig on Vera.
Yeah.
So that was
And she had red hair in her picture, right?
Yeah. I think so, yeah.
She had red hair in her picture.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means anything.
And this book has led Jack to stay up late reading the book. That's when we talked about the insomnia that you mentioned, when the daughter comes out, and the daughter knows he's caught on something. Hey, Jack, can I go to that party?
Yeah.
Is that cool?
Yeah. And he's all reading something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I was like, ugh!
Yeah, go get killed. Not a problem. I'm going to work on this murder, and then I'll work on yours next.
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
Yeah, and it's like, you're a cop. Like, what? How? What?
You're supposed to multitask.
He's just a cop,
Like,
not a dad.
Yeah, not a dad. But that's what I mean. It's like, even if he was just a cop first and not a dad, as a cop, don't you know what's out there?
Right.
Like, fine, don't be a father, be a freaking cop. And yeah, more why we don't like this guy. He's just stupid. Jack puts himself where Vera was found. You know, he's trying to get into Kent's mind. Maybe there's somebody else, but in Kent's mind. And that was creepy when he like kind of buried himself. Yeah, and he has like a little flashlight. I thought we were gonna see like, I was like, I wonder if we're gonna see like scratches, like if she was like alive. But I was like, no, he killed her probably somewhere else. You know? Yeah, you know, it's all these questions I have as I'm watching. And I'm like, no, stupid, that's not right.
Right, and while I watch this, I think so many twisted, crazy things. I'm like, dang, am I a psychopath? I can't even watch this thing.
I watch too many of these CSI shows. I don't know.
Right?
It's like what we're thinking is worse than what we're
right.
seeing.
Gosh.
Yeah. But that's when he finds the heart with the C plus the V. And I was like, oh. And that's when I looked at you and asked that stupid question. C for Clark? Kent or something? I was like, and you're like, no. And then after that, Jack and Paco have their bad exchange. Because, like, man, Jack, you're not easy to work with. Like, you're really not.
I found that, like, dispute out of the blue. Because they had previously, they were getting along in the previous scene. And then all of a sudden, they're mad at each other.
Yeah.
And then it resolves real quick. Just let me in. And then they're like, okay, cool. Well, here.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, he was saying like that Roth was going off of the rails, and I didn't really get that from his acting. I don't know.
I think why he mentioned that, because I noticed, like, because his reaction was kind of like after he said that, so I'm thinking maybe their history comes from Roth going off the rail from a previous case, you know, like maybe he went too crazy into a case, and that kind of like hurt him when he said that. He's like, that's not going to happen again, is what I got. You know?
Yeah, totally. And this is another one of those instances of just like things that they've been planting in every episode that I think it's time to let's start seeing the reason behind it.
Yeah.
And when they're, after that, I agree with you that was a little awkward of a confrontation because of what seemed to be on good page. The guy showed up, Mr. Stevenson, who seemed to be Vera's boyfriend, and they talked to him. And he's like, yeah, there was like a boy, 10 or 11, that she knew for like 5 years, that was always around.
Yeah.
I didn't trust him. I don't think he gave all the information he knows.
I had a little bit of that feeling too.
I get that.
Yeah.
Because he was just a fountain of information. He just, where did he live? I think I have that address. Oh, here it is in my pocket. Like, it just just seemed to have so much convenient answers.
I agree. And except when he was like, the name, and he says Cooper, and he said, did you get a last name? And it was like he hesitated, but I thought he knew. I was like, he knows the last name. You just said he had a whole crap of information to give him. It's like, you don't remember his last name? This boy who you claim bothered you for seeing your girlfriend who was 16, you knew who he was. Like, there's no way. You know, that's what I thought.
I just thought he was dumb.
I'm not
He's
sure.
just dumb.
I don't know.
I'm not positive one.
He lost his memory.
Maybe he didn't remember. I don't know.
I'm not positive one way or the other, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he turns out not to be trustworthy.
Right. Did anyone get that Roth and Paco were actually focused more on finding Verna and that whole storyline than Mallory's still out there? I don't know if she was, you know?
No, but she's lost
but like her
prior
body
to that,
and stuff like that. Yeah. Her super body. And
true.
even prior to that, I was like, oh, that's interesting. They're really focused on finding
you're right. And maybe it has to do with, like, Jack in this episode did kind of emphasize, like, getting in his head, like, understanding him. I think that's why he's like, if we figure out why this woman, maybe we'll get more answers. But they did forget real quickly about Mallory.
And he's concentrating a lot on finding Kent, you know. That's just his main priority.
But it's probably like, well, we have the head, so we know she's dead.
Right.
Let's move on. That's all we get.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Cooper is the name that we get from Mr. Stevenson, and he does mention another name, Bruce Forrester, which is the name of the man who is dead that we heard earlier in the episode.
Owned
the upholstery
place.
Correct. But Cooper is not the real name. They come to the conclusion that, like, he loved this woman. Whoever killed this person that they're looking for loved this woman and let her go. Why did he let her go? And then I was like, because of Betty, right? Right?
Yeah.
Like, all right, because of Betty. He let her go because he found Betty. Oh, so cute. It's adorable. Unfortunately, Jack doesn't have it so cute at home when Allison gets home and is like, where's Vicky?
I don't think his wife gets mad enough. No,
I don't think
you
so
would
either.
be furious in her position all of the times that he lets you down and all of the times that he conveniently gets a phone call and has to leave and she's just like, I understand, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what it's like to date a detective, but I assume it would suck. Like, especially if you're a detective, a high case detective that gets, you know, high profile stuff. It can't be easy. But I agree. That girl needs to get a little angrier.
Yeah. I mean, even when the daughter came home at the end of the night, she was kind of like, just relieved. I would have been mad, you know? But yeah.
Yeah. But that whole scene, we talked about it a little bit with Allison in the car when she kind of starts giving information about this investigation that her father is a part of. You know, she's smoking weed, drinking alcohol. Girl, you are, how old is she? Like 16, I think?
Yeah,
16?
she's 16.
Living life.
Living life. And she does go home. In the scene where Jack is still with Allison, his wife, and the phone rings, I was like, the daughter's gone, daughter's not here.
No.
And then, no.
I found that too, yeah.
Yeah, and then nothing. I am, now that I think about it, I'm sad we didn't see Diane, the undercover lieutenant. We didn't see her at all in this episode. I hope
Too much going on in this one, I guess.
Yeah.
I couldn't
Or maybe
squeeze in another string of line.
And the episode basically ends with Karen finding another riddle. But she does call Jack. Says, I think I know where Mallory's body is. And then you see Mallory's body floating.
In the reservoir.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And it's like, all right, so that's where they're headed next.
Headed.
And the episode for next week didn't say much. It just kind of was like a bunch of mumbo
Flashes.
jump. Yeah, it all happened so fast that I was like, I don't really know. Did we cover everything before we go into predictions?
Did Jack connect Cooper, the C plus V? Like, does he think that Cooper is the actual
I think he did. I think he did connect the C because he does say something. That's where we got the C and the V from. So he does make a comment about that, yes. But I wonder, Cooper.
But I just feel like, wouldn't you be able to... Right, because they knew that that was the maternal grandfather or something. So can't you just look up those records? Okay, well, who was her husband?
Yeah.
What was the last name?
Yeah, but
Hospital records. I know, I guess so. God.
Paco, correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't he mention that the name Cooper, because he looks up Cooper Forrester, right? He's like, that Cooper's like non-existent. Like there's no trace of it. How? I don't know. But he does say he like looked into it, and I thought I did think about the grandfather thing. Was like, can't you figure out something? But I don't know. Maybe yeah. Huh? Is that it before we go into predictions?
I think
Okay,
so.
let's go into predictions and see.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
Right on cue.
Have we done this every episode?
We have not.
When the
Not this.
Oh, for
the
this
flashing lights have not
Yes.
happened.
I was like, oh, I love this. I don't remember this happening before,
Yeah.
but let's keep it in.
Yeah, it should have been.
Let's do it the whole show.
Just the whole show. We just want the alien lights, the whole
time.
show.
Disco.
Please. Thank you.
Yeah.
Predictions. Who's got what? Who wants to go first?
I think I always need to hear your guys' first, and then that spurs.
Okay, so you go first then.
Let's see.
You go first.
Okay, so I'll go first. I got some stuff. I said Karen will die because she gets in over her head. I'm just so easy with death lately on shows. We have a show that we do, and I'm like, she's dying. Yeah. She's dying next week.
Like 2 episodes, she's gone.
She's gone. I'm just like, she's dead. So I think Karen's gonna die. Mr. Stevenson, I say, knows who Kent is. That's what I say. I don't trust him. I think he knows who Kent is. I think he will help Kent. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if next episode he'll be like sitting with him. Hey, they asked me these questions. This is the info I gave.
Really?
I might be far-fetched, maybe. Jimmy. We'll see Jimmy. I can't decide if he's gonna be Betty's first kill or like last, like epic, like no, I can't. This is gonna be for me type kill. That's what I got, guys.
Sweet.
I think for Jimmy that yeah, he's gonna be her first kill. He's gonna be to her what, Vera was to Kent.
Okay.
So, she's gonna start an MO and then start killing guys like that. I'm thinking. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'm also thinking, like I said, Jack's daughter and wife maybe even might get into some trouble. I did notice like the redhead thing. I don't know if the redhead thing is like a thing, but did you guys notice that like a few seconds he was sitting in a car and looking at those? Remember we were like, what just happened?
Yeah.
He was looking at some girls and then he just drove off.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what that was, but I did notice. I felt like one of the girls there he was concentrating on was redhead. Like,
And don't you remember that I said like maybe the first or maybe last episode that I said that body, Vera's body, when we first saw it, that I thought it was Roth's wife because of the way with the red hair. I mean, I said that earlier.
Yeah.
That like just a
so
glimpse
that
of it.
has to come in.
Yeah.
Has
for
to,
sure.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay.
Cool.
Alina, what
Let's
you got?
see.
What you got?
I think Betty is gonna make her first kill in the next episode.
Oh,
Next
okay.
episode.
I think it's gonna be
Okay.
next episode.
Quick.
Ooh. Okay, next episode or the following. It's gonna be pretty soon. I don't think it's gonna last till the end of the season or anything like that.
And it's gonna be Jimmy?
I don't think so.
No.
I think it's gonna be a girl.
Like the girl they picked up at the
Possibly. Yeah.
bar
Okay.
at the end of the
I think-
night.
I think
It
it's
seems
gonna
like
be
he
a
was
girl.
passing her the knife or something.
Right, but I do think she will end up killing Jimmy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or something, or Jimmy's gonna start figuring out something about them.
Jimmy's gonna be a problem.
Right, exactly, to them. So then they're gonna have to get rid of him somehow, and I think she's gonna be the one to do it. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tamra?
I still think that Betty will not make a kill. Maybe she'll come close at the end, but I don't think that she will. And I'm also trying to draw like more parallels between Phantom of the Opera and Kent and Betty. I
love that.
So maybe Kent will die at the end, just like the Phantom. So that's my prediction now.
That's interesting. I wonder if he dies,
At the
that's
end.
the end of the story. So it's
Right.
like this came in with the one season. Like you can't. How are you gonna keep Wicked City without
Without him.
So
Unless
like
there's a new killer every season.
unless there is a new killer every season, so it would not be about Kent and Betty. It would be very independent, kind of like what's that show?
True Detective.
Thank you.
Which
Yes.
I said this show reminds me a lot of.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
keep the
I'm
city,
not so
different
sure
killer.
about. I'm not so sure about Kent. I'm not putting money on that one, but I do really feel like Betty will not actually kill.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right. Well, we'll see who's right.
See.
That's what I'm taking to Vegas.
That's what you're taking to Vegas and putting money down on. And
The old Wicked City.
I'll be taking your money because she will be killing.
She is, yeah.
She'll be killing. We'll split.
Okay.
Alina, it's cool.
Deal.
We'll split. We'll go up against her. Thanks, guys, for tuning in with us for episode 3 of Wicked City. We really appreciate it. If you have the opportunity, like us, give us 5 stars, comment on our YouTube video, tweet us. Where can they tweet you? Tamara, tell them.
Tweet me at Brown Tamra. That's Brown Tamra.
And Alina.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Alina Vision, ALINAVISSION.
Okay, I figured it out why she looks so cute.
Why?
It's because she's smiling like the whole time as she's spelling it out, like
I'm
her teeth
happy
are
to be on
perfect.
Twitter.
Yeah, like just smiling. Just
All about it.
all about it. Susannah.
All right, I'm Susannah. You can follow me on Twitter at Susannah_Kim and on Instagram at Susannah Kim.
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Monse Bolanos. Monse spelled MONSE. Tweet all of us. Let us know what you thought of this episode. I mean, some people are watching. Tell us.
Yeah.
Let us know. We'll see you next week. Please don't get canceled.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.